anything on the previous minutes reports?
All good. Make a motion to accept.
Okay, there's a motion to accept.
Second it.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Do you have any visitors tonight? No? Lynn?
Okay. Oops, my superintendent name not in there. So I have nothing under personnel for you at this time. I have nothing under student. I was gonna give you an Act 46 update. I never know what I'm gonna have for you when I write these agendas. So you know that we're following two tracks. You know that we're following the lawsuit track. There was a hearing with the judge on Friday, and I sent that off to you. There's another article in today's Messenger that gives a little more detail. And I know that a board member from another town forwarded on one from, I don't remember, Times Argus maybe?
Yeah.
I think it was the Times Argus. So there's just some more information about, you know, there was no decision that was made in that court hearing, but it doesn't mean there wouldn't be a future decision made. So no injunction as of Friday. So we need to just get ourselves positioned so that we can become operational for July 1st at this time. So tomorrow night you'll have your organizational meeting with Enosburg at the high school, and that will get you in a position where your transitional board can start doing the work of warning the election to get your regular board members elected with your community, so that they can get to the place where they can warn a budget vote with your community. So that's kind of where we are there. I have not heard anything more on the bill that passed through the House. I know it pushed over to the Senate. I don't believe there was action taken on that last week that I was made aware of. We tried to watch for it and we weren't seeing anything come out of Montpelier. So did you happen to notice?
That it got sent to the Senate Education Committee, and they don't have any time scheduled for it this week. My sense is that they're waiting to see what happens in St. Albans with the judge before they take any action.
Okay. So that's what I have for you. Any questions on the Act 46 process?
You ready for tomorrow night?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that there's going to be a large crowd tomorrow night, or have you
I have
heard?
no way of knowing. I think that I definitely am hearing that there are some people that are coming out to the meeting, which is great.
Uh-huh.
I hope there's a lot of community participation of the meeting. I hope there's not a confusion about what the intention of the meeting is.
Right.
Because we are under order and we do need to move forward at this point. If we wait any longer, we're going to put ourselves in a situation where we're not going to be able to move forward and be prepared for the year.
Right.
And it's in our students' best interest to be ready to be operational July 1st. We want to keep our teachers under contract and
Right.
move forward positively. I don't know if a lot of people are going to show up. We'll have all the information that we have to present to them. I know that we've gone through the warning and just making sure that we've attended to all the details that we need to attend to be ready for that meeting.
And they're going to decide the name? Is that?
No.
No, that's
No.
not any.
That's not on the
Not
warning.
happening
Not on-
anymore.
yeah.
Okay.
So are you all there tomorrow night?
I don't know.
You're not
I'll
going to
be there.
Okay. So you get to take the lead tomorrow night.
Sure.
Well, actually, who is the transitional board members? Remind me.
Must have.
You did. Okay, gotcha. So that I'm saying you get to take the lead, but it's really not the Richford board.
Right.
It is. We're all taking the lead tomorrow.
Right.
We'll look at it that way.
Now Pat's going to be moderator.
You'll be opening the meeting.
Okay.
So in terms of the legislative update, I have nothing new since the last legislative update I sent out to you. We have a principal hiring process tonight, so there are a couple of things that we need to review. We just need to go through and finalize the questions that you have for the candidates when you start your interviews at 5:30. So for that, I will need us to go into executive because these questions are questions that we include in other interviews, so we would not want these to be an open session for them to go out. So if we could pop into executive just to finalize these questions.
I'll make the motion to enter executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Going in executive 4:07. Executive at 4:27 with no motions.
I made it, Pam seconded it.
Thank you.
You have nothing more?
No, I'm all done.
Okay. Morgan?
I don't have a lot for you. Your financial update was in your packet. The only real change is that I'm working on your second semester high school tuition bills, and I think second semester is going to be down about $20,000 from first semester due to a couple of kids changing residency. Those have not yet been sent to the tuition sending town, so there may be changes after that. But I'm not anticipating any big moves, and the $20,000 I don't think is cause for concern yet. In terms of the Windows project update, the bid packet for the work has gone out. I think it went out sometime last week. Bids are due back on March 8th, and we'll see then at that point what we can anticipate for the project cost. So we'll have that information for your March meeting. And that's all I have.
So I listed the elementary basketball coaches. Kylie Dusso is also assisting Hillary Derby with 3-4 boys, and Andy Derby has been assisting Sandra Tolman with the 3-4 girls. We did our visit with Berkshire, Montgomery, and we had some Sheldon kids come this year. We had 2 Sheldon kids come. One is moving to Richford, or dad is moving to Richford. I think she's coming to Richford High School, and the other is coming. So they're the Sheldon student. This week is Richford Loves to Read Week.
What is it, Beth? I'm sorry.
Richford Loves to Read Week at the elementary school. We're having a parent night for all 8th grade parents, Montgomery, Berkshire, Sheldon, and Richford 8th grade parents on the 20th, just to, for tours of the high school, because even though the middle school kids already are at that building, they're not in that area of the building. They're really in the middle school wing. So that's in the cafeteria on Wednesday night. And our 8th grade leadership team is hosting a dance for all the 7th and 8th graders in the district. I think that's really cool. They came up with the idea on their own, and so we're going to have that on March 8th, the Friday after we come back from break. That's the first time anything like that's been done, and so we'll be hosting the kids in high school. So I brought a letter that's going out, some of you will be receiving it, regarding high school reassessment week. As you know, we made some changes to our proficiency system this fall, trying to get it right. And one of the things we did was have, we had a week that was formally midterm exams, and if the students didn't receive proficiency or didn't achieve proficiency on their summative assessments, they needed to come back. And there were 4 summatives during the first semester. So if you're taking like 6 classes and there's 4 summatives and you didn't achieve proficiency on any of them, you had 24 to do during that week. And there were some kids who had 24. There were some kids who had none. And so we thought, and it also was pretty difficult for teachers as far as reteaching, providing that extra time and support where needed, because they didn't know how to time it really, because if they were reassessing everything in January, they didn't know if they should start reteaching in October on something, and so we had a discussion, and I came up with this with Todd Marlowe. Todd Marlowe and I worked on a snow day. It was my idea of how we could maybe improve the system. We got permission from Lynn. And so Todd and I worked on the dates. So what we're going to do is we're doing summative assessments for marking period 5 this week. If a student did not receive a 3 proficiency, they will, 3 or 4, they will get extra time and support. A teacher is required to call them back during IT time, during the 6 marking period, and at the end of the 6 marking period, we're going to have a reassessment day. We're going to do the same thing for marking period 7 for any students who did not achieve proficiency on marking period 6 summatives. At the end of the year, we're going to have to do 7 and 8 together, because you just bump up against the end of the year. And I put in the letter to parents and kids that, you know, we're trying to get this right, and we're trying to improve the system, and so we want to try this for the second half of the year and then get feedback on if people liked it better or not. So that's a pretty big change, and that letter went out to parents today. I didn't know if you had any questions.
So if it's
about
well
that.
received, you'll continue doing it.
Right.
But if it's not well received.
Right, if it's well received, well, we might do it with tweaks.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
I think that we're going to use data too, to see what kind of impact it's having on assessment results,
Mm-hmm.
and if there are fewer students or more students who get to proficiency when they can reassess closer to the time that the instruction occurred. I think that that'll be a big factor.
Well, I think that it was difficult for teachers and students because they were kind of waiting, and then they had everything to reteach at once, and there's a push-pull, because you want them to provide extra time and support for the current material, but you also want to help them with what they hadn't achieved yet, and sometimes they build upon one another. So I don't know, I came up with a model, and Todd sat down with me with the dates, and then I gave it to teachers and asked for their feedback, and they said that they loved it. So we thought, we'll just go for it.
I'm excited to see what it looks like by the end of the year.
I am too.
Yeah.
How did you feel after your visit to the 8th graders?
Good.
Good. I mean,
Good. I think that the teachers in Allison Witherspoon do a really nice job with that. You mean about how many are we anticipating?
yeah, I mean, were they excited about you coming and seemed to be
I
excited
think that
about?
they were. And a
Yeah,
lot of them, it
good.
depends on where their friends are going or
Yeah, I
siblings,
know.
but
That's always
I think that, we're getting a Sheldon student. I think we're getting at least one, maybe 2 Montgomery kids.
One for
and
sure.
then I don't know about what?
One for sure,
Yeah,
Jonas.
yeah. But I'm thinking maybe 2, possibly 3. And then Berkshire, I know we're getting some, but I don't know the number.
Keep recruiting.
What?
Keep recruiting.
Allison Witherspoon really does a nice job of that, and all the teachers do too. Like, you know,
Yeah.
they gave up their planning time willingly.
So
that
what do they
day.
do? You all go to?
They
the
all
junior
come.
high?
They
Yeah.
all
They
come
come here, yeah.
at once, and we break them up in 2 groups.
Uh-huh.
And instead of having them shadow a group, we want them to be able to be introduced to any teacher they might have. And so they are in shorter chunks. We did a team building thing. We added something this year where we had them actually interact with our 8th graders, because that was a component that we've missed in the past. So we did like team building things. I did a team building thing. Allison Witherspoon did. Chris Hoy. Like I think there was 4,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did a big team building thing in the gym, and then they met different groups, and yeah, it went pretty well, I think. The middle school teachers had the 6th and 7th graders. They had lunch in their classrooms, so that the visiting 8th graders and our 8th graders could have lunch together in the cafeteria.
Oh, nice.
Without the 6th and 7th graders. So the whole staff just does a wonderful job and really comes together and does whatever is needed to make it a good day.
It's awesome.
That's all I have.
Any other board business?
Have to wait and see on the Act 46.
Yeah.
What's that?
So we have to
Right.
wait and see on the Act 46.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I think you're gonna wanna pause, because you're gonna come back in.
We can't restart. Okay.
Right, they would just pause at this point
Mhm.
when they go out. You
Okay.
can get a little more time in your community meet and greet.
Okay. All right, so.
Then we meet back here at 5:30.
Well, we're gonna do interviews, so we're gonna be at this until 7:30 or 8 o'clock tonight, I'm guessing. So we'll meet back to start interviews at 5:30.
Okay.
Any motion, or have a pause?
I don't know, I've never done a pause before.
That might not be an official word,
Make a motion to
but I don't think you have to adjourn.
Recess.
There you
Recess.
go,
There
that's
we
the
go.
official
Yeah.
word, yes.
Recess until 5:30.
5:30.
5:30.